Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, April the 4th. I am Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV, and you all know I'm bringing you commentary you can use. So, before I get started, I want to say happy Monday again to you. I hope that you and your family are doing well. And as always, thank you all so much for subscribing to the channel as well as supporting the channel. If you are tuning in for the first time and you're not a subscriber, let me invite you to join our community and subscribe to the channel. You'll learn a lot here. And again, thank you all so much for your support. All right, y'all. So I'm coming to you this Monday morning. And as I was doing some research, just seeing some of the topics that are being covered, things that we need to know about, I came across a story and I want to ask the question, why are people talking about nickels? Why are people talking about nickels? So, this information comes from KTLA5. Okay. This is a news source from Los Angeles, California. And the title of the article says, "Why are people talking about hoarding nickels?" All right, y'all, let's get into it. So, according to the article, it says amid war in Ukraine and market chaos. Okay, we all know everything that's going on with the Russia Ukraine situation, right? Okay, so the article is saying amid war in Ukraine and market chaos, nickels, yes, the 5-cent coin, nickels are now worth more in melted metal than their face value. Did y'all just hear what I said? Let me repeat that, y'all. Okay, nickels, the 5-cent coin, are now worth more in melted metal than their face value. Yes, that's right. Okay. Now, the article goes on to say this may also be causing some Americans to hoard the coins, okay, as a way to future proof for potential inflation. Okay. Now, the article goes on to say that so far, coverage on the effect of the war in Ukraine has focused on gas prices. You all know I've talked about that right here on the channel as well, with Russia being one of the largest producers of oil in the world. Okay. However, according to an organization, McKinsey and Company, Russia was the largest exporter of raw nickel in the world, okay, with 21.1% of the global supply of nickel mined in the country, okay. The next highest, the article says, was Canada with 17.1% of raw nickel mining in the world. So let me ask this question, y'all. Okay, as I'm, looking at what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, I'm noticing that, as there have been so many sanctions placed on Russia, I'm noticing that more and more of natural resources, minerals, um, different items that so much of the world depends on comes from Russia. We talked about oil. We talked about Russia being a producer of oil. I also did research, and I found in another article where it says that Russia and surrounding areas, I believe Belarus was one of them, they are exporters of wheat. And now we're learning that Russia is the largest exporter of raw nickel. So I just find it very, you know, kind of interesting that the country that it seems like, is being, um, penalized and sanctioned by other countries in the world, it's just ironic almost that we so many parts of the world depend on Russia for so many different resources and minerals. Okay. All right. So the article goes on to say that on March 7th, the London Metal Exchange reported the price of nickel rose 250% in just 24 hours, causing the exchange to halt trading on nickel for the first time since 1985. Okay, on March 14th, Bloomberg had reported the nickel market broke. Okay, all right. You all let me know your thoughts about this so far. Now, a Reddit forum called Wall Street Silver saw recent activity from users who suggested joining what they're now calling US Nickel FOMO, or fear of missing out. Okay. Like the Wall Street Bets efforts with the stock market. You all, those of y'all, if you remember what happened with GameStop, stock rising to never before seen new high levels. A lot of people attributed that to the Reddit group or Reddit forum, Wall Street Bets. Okay. So, according to the article, they're saying like the Wall Street Bets efforts with the stock market, some users claim to be making investments while others generated memes. Okay. Now, it does say nickel. Do you know that nickel is needed for more than just coins? So let's talk about that, y'all. Car batteries. Car batteries, another topic that has been in the news. Car batteries use nickel as a main material, and cars are already becoming more expensive due to semiconductor shortages, hurting production costs and timelines. The article also says the semiconductor shortages are also pushing up prices for used and new cars amid historically high inflation. Now, the article says there are also a few problems with the thinking behind nickel hoarding, one of which concerns the legality of melting coins. Now, listen to this, y'all. Melting coins, dimes, quarters, and pennies for the purpose of simple destruction, creating art, or other non economic purposes is still legal in the US, but it's illegal to melt nickels to sell the metal itself. Okay, let me repeat that, y'all. I know we're talking about the fact that, the price of nickel right now is worth more melted than its face value. But I want to be very clear with you all and share this information. Okay. Now, melting nickels, dimes, quarters, and pennies for the purpose of simple destruction, creating art, or other non economic purposes is still legal in the US. However, it is illegal to melt nickels to sell the metal itself. Okay. Now, it is also worth noting, the article says that today's nickels are only made with 25% of the metal they're named for. That is according to the US Mint. The rest of the coin is actually made with copper. Okay. And the article says, ironically, pennies are mostly zinc instead of copper. Okay. The copper plated coin has only contained 2.5% of the valuable metal since 1982. Okay. Now, the Federal Reserve, the US Federal Reserve, created the US Coin Task Force, made up of, and I quote, a group of coin industry representatives that come together at the onset of the pandemic to identify, refine, and promote strategies to resolve the pandemic related coin supply chain issues. Now, among the many issues created by the pandemic was what many called a coin shortage. Now, do you all remember um, during the pandemic, maybe even now, still to this day, going to different stores and they would have, or even banks, and they would have stores, restaurants, places of businesses, even banks, and they would have a sign up saying, either pay by card or use exact change. They had a coin shortage going on. Do you all remember that? Let me know in the comments. Do you remember back when they were saying that there was a coin shortage during the pandemic? Well, I have some information, some interesting information. I have some interesting information to share with you all about that. Now, in a report by the task force, again, this is the U.S. Coin Task Force that was created by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The industry representatives said that the pandemic didn't cause a coin shortage. Are y'all hearing me? Let me start over, okay? In a report by the task force, okay? Again, this is the U.S. Coin Task Force that was created by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The industry representative said that the pandemic did not cause a coin shortage, but instead it caused a slowdown in recirculation. Okay, how many of you all believed that there was actually a coin shortage? Okay, let me know in the comments. Okay, I found it hard to believe, but that's what they were telling us. Okay, now, according to the report, only 17% of the coins in circulation were created in 2019. U.S. Treasury said there were $48 billion in coins already in circulation. Now, during the pandemic, as Americans stayed indoors and paid for things electronically through an app or card, there were fewer coins in circulation. While not a shortage, technically, it did put a premium on physical coins for stores and banks. Supply chain issues for materials remain a clear and present concern, particularly amid ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Okay. Now, the article does say that at the end of the day, while the material value of a coin can fluctuate, its currency value remains static. Nickels will always be 5 cents, even when the material is worth less. The U.S. Mint reported the nickel's unit cost rose by 14.8% in fiscal year 2021. And the article concludes by saying for the 16th year in a row, nickels were more expensive to produce than they were worth as cash. All right, y'all. So that's the news on why people are talking about nickels. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Did you ever believe that there was a coin shortage when they told us? What were your thoughts on that? I would also like to know, does this news and information cause you to want to save your nickels? Now, I should have said this in the beginning of the video, but my husband told me actually years ago that he had been told to save his nickels. And so, hey, lo and behold, here we are in 2022 and nickels are a hot topic. So thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Make sure if you have not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, join our community. We are a community of people who we're concerned about the times that we're living in. We're looking for truth. We're seeking real solutions. And that is what this channel is all about, so that we can use the information to help ourselves, our family and friends sustain and survive the times that we are living in. So again, thank you all so much. I appreciate your support. If you're on Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. Again, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. And thank you all so much for tuning in and watching another episode. Thank you all so much. Take care.